पूजामूलं गुरोर्पदं मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यं भक्तिमूलं गुरोर्कृपा। कदा वृन्दारण्ये विमलयमुनातीरपुलिने चरन्तं गोविन्दं हलधरसुदामादिसहितम् अये कृष्णस्वामिन् मधुरमुरलीवादनविभो प्रसीदेत्याक्रोशन् दिवसान्। नमः कमलना भाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण। यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्ब्रह्म देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Eternally divine souls, we will do Sankirtan for a few minutes before I embark on the topic of sadhana, devotional practice. Bhajo giridhar govind गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला।
भजो मुरली मनोहर नंद लाला।
भजो गिरिधर गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला। भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
भजो मोर मुकुट मुरली वाला।
भजो मोर मुकुट मुरली वाला।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला। भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला। भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
भजो गिरिधर गोविंद गोपाला।
बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। Devotional listeners, now I humbly request your full attention. Would you kindly check your cell phone to make sure that it will not ring? And if possible, just turn it off so you're not tempted to use it while the lecture is going on. Thank you. Today I'm going to speak about sadhana, the practice of devotion. We can hear all the lectures about devotion, and we must, we should. But after listening to lectures, we must practice. After learning how to do devotion, we must actually start practicing it. We cannot only keep on going to lectures, we cannot only listen to lectures, we must practice also, and we cannot practice unless we've understood the philosophy. So lectures, the theoretical part, and the practical part, sadhana, practice of devotion, both are important. So what I'm going to share with you is what Jagat Guru Uttam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has shared with the entire world. Nothing, he didn't keep anything private. He taught everyone in the world the same thing. It's not that he told his intimate devotees some secret secret sadhana, and which he did not disclose to the rest of the world. Sri Maharajji's philosophy was freely given to everyone, the same philosophy. No secrets kept. Nothing. Everything was given out. We are at the beginning of our devotional practice. We are novices. And so we need to take great precautions in protecting our mind from the world. Our mind right now is like a tender plant. It's a small plant, and a plant has to be protected. You have to protect it from the elements, from the rain, sunshine, and the like. And you have to protect it from other creatures, rabbits, goats, and the like. But once the plant is big, it's not a full-grown tree, but it's a big plant now, you don't need to take as much care of it as you did earlier. And when it's a full-grown tree, then you don't need to take care of it at all. Now you can tie even an elephant to it, and the tree will not be harmed. It doesn't need your protection. In the same way, at present, our mind needs a lot of protection. We need to protect it from the material world. The material world is full of 3 poisons: Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas, these 3 poisons. Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamogun. They contaminate the mind. So we need to, our aim is to purify the mind. We want the grace of God. And God says, Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. Ramcharitmanas. Bhagwan Sri Ram says, I want a pure heart. Then I will give you my full grace. I don't like deception. I don't like a deceptive heart. So our aim is to purify our heart. Our aim is to cleanse the heart. And even Adi Shankaracharya, who is known as the leader of Jnanis, impersonalists, he told his mother, he preached to his mother, and he said, Mother, Shuddhayati hinantaratma Krishna padam bhoj bhakti mrite. Mother, it is impossible to purify the heart without practicing devotion to Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna bhakti, devotion to Sri Krishna cleanses the heart, it purifies the heart. So he taught his mother to practice devotion. In Radha Govind Geet, Sri Maharaj Ji says, Ek prem man shodhe, Govind Radhe, Ek prem divya, Hari Guru te dila de. There are 2 kinds of devotion. One is sadhana bhakti, the other is siddha bhakti. One is a practice of devotion, which this is the path we are on. We are practicing devotion. This devotion will purify the heart. And then the Guru, the divine Guru, will give us the perfect devotion, siddha bhakti, that is God realization. That is a gift that God gives through the Guru. One devotion we must practice. The other will be gifted to us. When will it be gifted? Once the heart has become absolutely pure. So it's very simple. We just need to cleanse the heart, purify the heart, that's all. Then Guru will give, with the grace of God, he will give divine bhakti, siddha bhakti, perfect devotion, God realization. So how to practice this devotion? What should we keep in mind? In fact, we need to know exactly how to do it. So what we need to do is to ensure that we have some privacy, preferably early in the morning. The early morning time is the best in which to practice devotion, for very logical reasons. One reason is that everyone in your family will be likely asleep and you are waking up earlier than them. So you don't have any distractions from family members. No one is talking to you, no one is asking you questions. Phone calls have not started coming in, and hopefully the phone hasn't started pinging yet. It's too early in the morning. This is a time when people say that's an ungodly hour. When somebody sees you awake at such a time, that some other family member wakes up, and that person will say, that family member might say to you, what are you doing up at this ungodly hour? Then you can say, this is a very godly hour, in fact. This is a very spiritual time, and this is a great time to practice devotion. It's a great time to meditate on God because of the quietness. And the early morning time is so good because there are pure vibrations in the environment, and they do help us significantly in practicing devotion. So preferably, we must practice devotion early in the morning. But if that is not possible, then we are practicing Raga Nuga Bhakti. That is devotion that is born out of interest. I'm practicing devotion to Radha and Krishna not because I have to, but because I want to. Not because I'm afraid of scriptures. Scriptures say if you don't do devotion, you'll go down to hell after death. You'll have to suffer the torments of hell. I'm not practicing devotion out of fear, and I'm not practicing devotion out of greed because I want something from God. I am just practicing devotion because I want to, because He's my one and only. So that is Raga Nuga Bhakti. The other is Vadhi Bhakti, which is performed, which is practiced according to the specifications of scriptures. Now you do this puja, now it is time for you to do that puja, now you must do this ritual, now you must do this. That is Vadhi Bhakti. Jagatguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has taught Raga Nuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotion, natural love for God. Not because I have to, but because I want to. So in Raga Nuga Bhakti, there is no hard and fast rule about time in which we practice devotion or the place where we practice it. Na desha niyamastasmin na kala niyamastatha, say the Purans. So if early morning is not possible for whatever reason, then any time is good. But Brahma Muhurte Uttishtet, the scriptures do say, get up early in the morning. All right, so let's say you've gotten up early in the morning. What do I do now? Create an altar, a shrine in your room where you can get some privacy. Perhaps in your house there is a dedicated puja room. There's a dedicated room in which you practice devotion. And if not, then wherever you can find privacy, have a little shrine for yourself, put an image of God there. Just because it's a powerful reminder of God, for that reason. Many people misunderstand the reason for keeping murtis or idols. They say you are idol worshippers. Well, actually, we are worshiping God, but we're using the image of God, the statue of God, murti of God, to remind ourselves of God. We know that's not God, but God is omnipresent. So God is in the murtis as well. So I am practicing devotion to God who is within that image. So these are powerful reminders. You might have a photo of God or a stone murti. There murtis or images of God come in many different forms. But keep a reminder of God and your Guru. And then to remind yourself of God, don't do silent meditation. It doesn't work, not in Kali Yuga anyhow. What really works in Kali Yuga is what the scriptures recommend, and that is Sankirtan. Namalila gunadinam muchair bhasha tu kirtanam. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu says, Sankirtan means loud chanting of the names, the pastimes, the attributes, and the attributes of Bhagwan, of God. Now you might say, I don't want to wake up the whole family. Loud doesn't mean that you are shouting at the top of your lungs. It just means that you can hear yourself singing. When possible, sing louder than that, but early in the morning, I don't think you should be, we should not be singing that loudly if you're doing this devotion at home. In the mandir, right here, when we do devotion, morning devotions, we do sing loudly. But at home, what loud Sankirtan means is that so that you can hear yourself. And this loud Sankirtan is very, very powerful. It helps our mind tremendously. And our mind needs as much assistance as we can give it. So loud chanting is recommended for people of Kali Yuga, this age. We are people of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga keval hari gun gaha. In Kali Yuga, the only method of uniting the mind with God is chanting the holy name. So we should chant. And we should take the help of Sankirtans and bhajans that are composed by a divine mind. Many people sing kirtans and bhajans that are based on tunes from some songs from the movies. Now the problem with that is, first of all, who composed that kirtan or that bhajan? Not a divine being, not a divine representative of God on earth, not a guru. Someone composed a bhajan and they used the tune of a song. So whenever you're singing that, you're thinking of that song, and you scratch your head, you say, what movie was that in? And that defeats the purpose. What was that movie? What was that movie? Hey, what was that movie that song is from? And you know, this kirtan is on that tune. You don't want that. So you want to take the help of bhajans and kirtans that are the product of a divine mind. Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj has gifted the world thousands and thousands of such beautiful devotional songs and chants. And he has also specified the tunes, the melodies in which they should be sung based on semi-classical Indian music. So we have all that already done for us. All we have to do is to use these tools. Now, before we even start singing, we must form various relationships with Sri Krishna. The very basic relationship with him is that he is my loving master. As abhiman jai jani bhore, main sevak raghupati pati more. Ramayana. He is my master and I am his eternal servant. Dasa bhutamidam sarvam, say the Purans. I am a servant of Sri Krishna. Jivera Shwarupa hoy Krishnera Nitya Das, says Gaurangam Mahaprabhu. The individual soul is a natural and eternal servant of Sri Krishna. That is who we are. So we must fill our heart with the sentiment that I am his humble servant and he is my merciful master. I wish to always serve my master. I want to serve Sri Krishna. But he's not only my master, he is my best friend as well. Sri Krishna, God is our eternal friend. Whether we accept it or not, God has said this in the Vedas, that he is our sakha, he is our eternal friend. Such a friend who has always been with us, no matter where we go, no matter where the soul is sent, whether it's being sent to Naraklok, the hellish abode, or Swargalok, or it is taking birth as an animal or an insect, a bird, human, no matter where we go, our Lord, our Sakha, eternal friend, goes with us. So that is another sentiment we must keep in the heart, that he is my eternal friend. We hear about the Gwalbal, the cowherding boys, the friends of Sri Krishna. And Brahmaji exclaims at their good fortune, Aho bhagya maho bhagyam nanda gopavrajavukasam yan mitram paramanandam purnam brahma sanatanam. What can I say about the fortune of these cowherd boys, these Gwalbal? They have the Supreme Lord as their eternal friend and playmate. We must also truly regard Sri Krishna as our eternal friend. A friend has many privileges, and the friend has even more opportunity than a servant to serve his friend, eternal friend Sri Krishna. Because now there's more proximity, there's more closeness. So the friend can serve Sri Krishna more than the servant can. And the friends, that relationship of Krishna and the cowherd boys, the friendly relationship is very sweet, very beautiful. These friends of Sri Krishna, they love him more than life itself. And they always wish to serve him. When they get together to graze the cows and cattle, and there comes a time during the day when they are ready for their lunch, and they bring out the packets of food that their mothers have packed for them. And when one of the friends bites into a sweet fruit, like a mango, when he's eating this mango, he passes it on to Kanhaiya. Kanhaiya, this mango is really delicious, and it's so fragrant, so fragrant. And so Kanhaiya takes that mango and eats it. The friend gives it to him. He's depriving himself of the sweet mango, but he wants to give it to his friend Krishna, Kanhaiya, because he wishes to serve him. Oh Kanhaiya, my Maiya has given me dahi pakodi. You have never eaten anything as delicious as this. And Kanhaiya looks greedily at that. And a friend gives it to him. Of course, they have lots of fun with him too, because one day a friend said, I have this dahi pakodi, you've never tasted anything like this, and Krishna became very greedy for it, and that friend, Mansukh, he said, Mansukha, he said, first stand up and close your eyes and open your mouth, and I'll put it into your mouth. And Krishna did that, but instead of feeding Krishna this dahi pakodi, this practical joker of the group, Mansukha, he smeared it all over Krishna's cheeks. And everyone started to laugh. So there is good-natured humor between the friends. They joke around with each other, they slap each other on the back, and they have fun with him. They have such an easy relationship. So we also aspire to be his eternal friends. Okay, we cannot be his eternal friends. There are eternal friends of Sri Krishna, like Dhansukh, Mansukh, Sridama. But we can be the friends. We are his eternal friends. But when we attain God realization, we will not be called eternal friends of Sri Krishna. We will be called Sadhan Siddh. Because we did sadhana and then we attained perfection. We were not always with him in Golok. So I just want to differentiate that, want to just clarify that he is our eternal friend. But when we attain God realization, we will not be called eternal friends, because those friends of his have always been in his divine abode. They have never been under the control of Maya. Nitya Siddh, eternally liberated souls. So the friends of Sri Krishna, they also sometimes try to get him in trouble, because this is what friends do. And one day, one of the friends, Sridama, he went to Yashoda and he complained about Kanhaiya. And this is what he said. Yashoda tere lala ne maati khai. ओ मैया तेरे लाला ने माटी खाई, मेरे संग खेले नहीं, दूर ही खेलन को जाए, ब्रज की तरहेटी में अकेलो ही चराए गाए। एक दिन मैं हूँ वाके ढिग ही पे पहुँचो जाए, तो देखा कान्हा ढेरे में ते कोरी कोरी माटी खाए। मैंने जो कहा कि तेरी मैया सो कहूँगो जाए, तो पुनि करत लड़ाई, यशोदा तेरे लाला ने माटी खाई। Sri Rama is obviously upset with Kanhaiya, and he has come to lodge a complaint against his good friend. And he says, Maya, do you know that I have seen Kanhaiya eating dirt? And just to give you context, and you perhaps know the context already, Yashoda has told Kanhaiya many times not to eat dirt. She has told him, Lala, you will get worms inside your stomach. Stop eating dirt. But what can he do? It smells so good. It tastes so good. So he keeps on eating dirt. And so now this Sri Rama has become a spy, as if a spy for Yashoda, and he's saying, I saw him eating dirt. In other words, you can scold him, you can beat him if you want, do whatever, but I'm telling you this. And then he leaves. Then Kanhaiya comes home, and he is his jovial self, playing the flute and jumping and swaying and so happy. And then he sees his Maya, and Maya is in a very serious mood, and he thinks, what's wrong? So he goes and embraces Maya, but he's not embraced by Maya. And he says, Maya, what's wrong? And she says, Sri Rama was here and he was telling me that you ate dirt. Oh, Maya. Sri Rama? Yes. And he told you this? Yes. Maya, I'll tell you why he came over here. Sri Rama is so bad. And he's such a liar. Such a liar. And Maya thinks, oh yes, and you're always truthful? You have told so many lies. Are you saying that you're Harishchandra? Raja Harishchandra, who never told a lie? She's thinking this. She's thinking, let me give him a chance to explain himself. So Kanhaiya, who is so clever at making up excuses, he says, Maya, listen carefully, this is what happened. Ek din Shri Rama ne छाछ मांगी एक घूंट, और मैंने वाको दई नहीं, तासों गयो मैया रूठ, ताही सो बनाई यह बात सब झूठ मूठ, अरे मिले गो श्री दामा वाको मारूंगा मैं कूद कूद, अरे झूठी आन लगाई यशोदा तेरे लाला ने माटी खाई. Maya, that Sri Dama, he always wants my chach, buttermilk that you give to me to drink, because it's hot outside. So Maya, I had my chach, I was drinking it, and he said, Kanhaiya, could I have one sip? And I said no. I told him, no, I don't have enough, I can't give it to you. And you should ask your Maya. You always ask me for my chach, my buttermilk. Why can't you get your own? And Maya, he got so angry, he said, I'll show you, Kanhaiya ke bacche. I'll show you. You saying no to me, I'll get you in trouble. And Maya, this is why he's come over here and he has complained, that liar. And Maya, do you know, even his Maya is very upset with him because he just keeps lying to her all day long. And Maya is thinking, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. These are all excuses. So Kanhaiya, Maya says, Kanhaiya, why don't you open your mouth and let me see for myself? But he doesn't give her a chance to say this. He says, Maya, if you don't believe me, really, if you don't believe your own child, I'll open my mouth, no problem. With full faith that Maya will say, Jane do. He's so confidently saying that he'll open his mouth, so I'm sure he didn't eat the dirt. And Kanhaiya is so confident that this is what's going to happen, that this will be the scenario. But his Maya said, that's a good idea, open your mouth and let me see. Well, when Maya said that, open your mouth, he thought, what did she say? Open my mouth? He was so surprised and he was so afraid that his mouth opened by itself. You know the story. फाड़ के मुखारविंद मैया को दिखाई दीन्हे, तामे देखे दिव्य दिव्य सातों दीप सातों सिंधु, पृथ्वी आकाश और सूर्य गण तारा चंद्र, भनत स्नेही जाकी माया को न पायो पार, मगन भई हर्षाई यशोदा तेरे लाला ने माटी खाई. So when his mouth opened involuntarily, Maya looked into that mouth and Yogamaya came in. Yogamaya thought, my Swami, my master, my Lord is going to get a beating. I cannot allow that to happen. So although the Supreme Lord Krishna had told Yogamaya, do not enter Braj. I don't want anyone in Braj to see my majesty. This is the land of love. Majesty cannot enter here. So don't you dare come into Braj. But Yogamaya thought, it's okay, he'll scold me, he'll get angry with me, but I cannot allow him to get a beating. So Yogamaya went into his mouth and showed Maya countless universes in that tiny little mouth. And Yashoda just fainted. And when she regained consciousness, she thought, I am getting too old, I think. And plus, it's very hot outside. I'm just hallucinating. Imagine seeing a universe in my child's mouth. I'm going crazy. And that was the end of that. So the friends of Krishna, they exercise great rights. They have the freedom to complain about him, against him. They have the freedom to ride on his shoulders like a horse rider rides a horse. This is also a relationship we must go into from time to time, but we must not stop there because there is a greater relationship which gives even more privileges to the aspiring devotee. That is the parent-child relationship, especially mother-child relationship. So Yashoda is the mother and Kanhaiya Krishna is the child. Now Yashoda has even more privileges than a friend. The friend has more privileges than a servant. The mother has more privileges than a friend. So now the privileges are greater and the restrictions are fewer. Yashoda Maya she can reprimand him, she can tap him lightly with the stick that she keeps with him, she can frighten him with that stick. She tells him what to eat, she dictates when he's going to sleep because she's the mother and he's a small child. And the nectar, the sweetness is increasing. It has increased now in this relationship. And this is exactly what we see in the world. Nothing unusual. This is how it is in the world. And this is why we are instructed, or it has been suggested to us that we should go into these relationships by saints. So Yashoda and Kanhaiya, there are so many pastimes of mother and child. Yashoda Maya says to Krishna, you must study, beta, you must study. Every mother says that, study. Arey, padhai karo, nahi to baad mein kya karoge jeevan mein? Ghaas khodoge kya? What will you do? You won't get any good job, you won't get into a good profession. So study, you must study. Krishnatvam path kim pathami nanure shastram kim ugyayate tattvam kasya vibho. It's a conversation between Maya and Krishna is very fascinating. Kanhaiya, you should study. Okay, Maya, what should I study? Study the scriptures. Why should I study scriptures? To get knowledge, tattva. What kind of knowledge? The knowledge of God, vibho. God? Bhagwan? Who is that, Maya? You don't know who Bhagwan is? God is? He's the Lord of the three universes. Tribhuvanadhisha. Nantenapi kim. What will I get from knowing him? She said, study the scriptures so that you may get to know God. But why should I know him? Fair question. Why should I know God? Because when you get to know him, then you will fall in love with him. When you fall in love with him, you'll become detached from the world. And then you'll attain liberation, moksha. Yanam bhakti ratho virakti ranaya kim muktirevastute. So, Kanhaiya, through knowledge, you will attain love, you will start to love him, and when you start loving him, you'll become detached from the world. And then he says, Anaya kim, Maya, what more? I'm not interested in any of this. What more? And she says, liberation, mukti. Maya, what's mukti? What's moksha? How do I explain to him what moksha is? She says, Kanhaiya, you don't have to come back to this world anymore. When you attain moksha, you don't have to come here anymore. And she is so happily telling him this with such seriousness in her voice, and he starts crying. Ooh! And she said, why are you crying? Maya, I don't want moksha. Moksha is not nice. What do you mean? Maya, I want to come to this world. What he means to say is, if I don't come to this world, Maya, what will the gopis do without me? What will the Gwal Bal do without me? What will you and Baba do without me? What will the cows and the calves do without me? I want to come to this world again and again. So Maya thinks, oh my goodness, I've upset him. Maya, I don't want moksha. And he's crying, and to appease him, she said, okay, I'll give you whatever you want. You don't want moksha? You will not get moksha, I promise you. You will not get liberation. But what is it that you want then? Maya, and he starts crying, stops crying immediately, says, Maya, I want makhan and roti. I want thick roti and fresh makhan, butter. Maya, and can you put mishri on top? And she said, all right. And they go in, and there's no more talk about education. Plus he says, Maya, if I don't want liberation, this is the child's logic. So you're saying that I should study the scriptures to know God, and when I get to know God, I will fall in love with God, then I'll become detached from the world, and then I'll get liberation. But Maya, I'm saying that I don't need liberation. I don't want liberation. And you agreed with this. So tell me, Maya, why should I study then? See the logic? By studying, you attain liberation. So if I don't want liberation, I don't have to study. And Maya is thinking, what kind of logic is this? It's child's logic. Because he has made himself forget that he is the omniscient Lord. And Yashoda also has been made to forget that he is God. So there is so much sweetness in this relationship. Once Yashoda gave Kanhaiya a bath and put nice clothes on him and his tiny little ornaments, gave him the little flute. When he's not using it, he tucks it into his waistband. So now he's very small, and he has tiny little flute, nothing like this big. He's not even this big, he's very small. He is just crawling on all fours, but he wants his flute. So he has this little flute and more mukut, everything, but very miniature ones. And once she gives him a bath and gets him ready, she leaves him in the angan, in the courtyard of the house, because she has so many things to do. Now Yashoda has many servants and maidservants. There are so many helpers there, but she wants to milk the cow herself. She wants to make that milk into curd herself. She wants to make that into chaach herself. She wants to do that for her child. So she is busy throughout the day, and then there's so many other things to do. And in the meantime, Kanhaiya thinks, well, I'll do my work. Maya is doing her chores. So outside the gate of the mansion that Nanda and Yashoda have, the gopis have all gathered. It's morning time. The gopis have gathered outside the gate, and each one of them has made some excuse to leave the house under the pretext of selling butter and chaach, buttermilk, and other milk products. So no one can suspect anything in the family that they're gone to see Kanhaiya. They've gone to see somebody else's child. Because the mother-in-law said, you've got a child at home, why are you going to see somebody else's child? Nobody would understand, so they have gone under the pretext of selling milk and milk products, and they've all gathered in front of the house of Nanda and Yashoda, and they start out by saying, "Doodh le lo, taza makhan le lo," like that. They're hawking the goods that they have, the food stuff that they have. But soon they forget that and they go into a state of samadhi induced by extreme love for Shamsundar. And the pots of milk and curd and butter that they're balancing on their head so expertly, they all fall down. And now there is a nice puddle on the ground. That milk, buttermilk is mixed with the dirt. And Kanhaiya is now listening to the gopis. They're saying, earlier they were saying butter for sale, milk for sale, curd for sale, and they ended up saying, in their samadhi, they ended up saying Govinda for sale, Damodar for sale, Madhav for sale. They're putting somebody's child on sale. But they don't know what they're doing because they're in samadhi. And Sri Krishna reciprocates because God always reciprocates the love of the devotee. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna says, I love the individual soul as the individual soul loves me, with the same sentiment in the same amount. So he is anxious to have darshan of the gopis just as they are anxious to have his darshan. So he manages to crawl outside. He manages, with using all his strength that he can muster, he crosses the threshold of the house, the entry, this little raised platform, and he gets outside. And there he sees the gopis and he sees a wonderful playground, so much fun to splash in. And so he starts splashing in all that mud. What he's really thinking is, this is the foot dust of these pure devotees of mine. And I love them so much that I want to attain. I want to be in the dust. I want to attain the dust of their feet. So that Gopi's foot dust has been mixed into that wonderful puddle. So he is splashing around very happily in that. Outwardly, it's a child splashing around, not caring about what his clothes look like or what he looks like. That mother will have to take care of that. But the child doesn't care. So now every mother has a sixth sense, and Yashoda Maya thinks, I wonder what he's up to. So she leaves her chores, she leaves whatever she's been doing, she comes out and Kanhaiya is gone. She rushes outside to see, and there he is, playing in this mud puddle. And she scolds him. Pankabhishikta sakala vayavam vilokya damodaram vadatiko pavashadya shoda tvam shukarosi gata janmani putanare. O killer of Putana, because he killed Putana when he was 6 days old. O killer of Putana, I gave you a bath half an hour ago, but look at what you've done to yourself. And looking at you playing so happily in this mud, I think to myself that you, in your previous life, you were definitely a pig. Tvam shukaro sigata janmani putanare. You were definitely a pig in your last life. You loved this mud so much. And Kanhaiya smiles to himself because he is thinking, Maya, you're so right. One of my avatars is Shukra avatar in the form of a wild boar. So you're right, Maya, but he doesn't. He looks nervous on the outside because his Maya is looking very serious. And so she picks him up and takes him inside, gives him a bath once again. This is the sweetness of Vatsalya Bhav. When Shamsundar left Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba and the gopis, when he left them all behind and went off to Mathura, then he sent a message. After some time, he sent a message for Mother Yashoda with Uddhav. And he said, Uddhav, when you go to Braj, then first thing you do is you go to my Maya and do pranam, touch her lotus feet. Put your head at her lotus feet and tell her that your son has sent his pranam. Uddhav will say, well, when I say this, then Maya will ask me, why doesn't he come and do pranam himself? Why doesn't he come to me? Why has he not come? What will I say to him? And Kanhaiya said, Shamsundar said, tell her I can never come back to her. How can I show my face to her ever again? Because you see, Uddhav, Putana came to kill me, but I gave her residence in my Golok. She tried to feed me her poisonous milk, and what did I give her? I gave her residence in my divine Golok. Yashoda Maya has given me milk which is like nectar, like Amrit. Now what can I give to Maya? What can I give to my Maya that is greater than my Golok? I cannot give her anything. I cannot give her anything because I've already given my Golok to Putana, who came with the intent to kill me with her poisonous milk. So I am so embarrassed to go to Mother Yashoda. I can never go back. This is the gratitude he feels for Mother Yashoda. So this is Vatsalya Bhav. Then there is the greatest of all relationships, Madhurya Bhav. We hear about the gopis. These gopis, milk maidens of Vrindavan, collectively known as the gopis. One meaning of the name gopi, the word gopi, is the one who keeps her love a secret. Jo apne pyar ko gupt rakhe, gopaniya rakhe, wo hai gopi. The one who does not show the love she has for Krishna. She hides it within her heart. Because when it is advertised, when it is made public, then love loses its strength. It's not so strong anymore. But when it's hidden, then it is strengthened. So the gopis are the illiterate milk maidens of Vrindavan. But who are they really? Some of these gopis, and there are different classes of gopis, and the very lowest class of gopis are the verses of the Vedas that have taken the human form, that have taken the female form, and they are now known as the gopis. Some of them are the sons of Agni Dev. They have become eligible, they have become deserving of being females, and so they have come as females. They have come as the gopis. Some of them are the maid servants of Sita Ji from Treta Yuga, because as soon as they saw Ram, they fell in love with him. But Bhagwan Sri Ram was Maryada Purushottam. He was only going to have one wife. He was not going to reciprocate their love. So he silently granted them a boon that Dwaparante karishyami bhavati nam manoratham. You will return at the end of Dwapar Yuga, the next age, and I shall fulfill your desire. So they have come as the gopis, and they have accepted Shri Krishna as the beloved. Some of these gopis are the sages and ascetics from Treta Yuga, the previous Yuga, when Bhagwan Krishna had come as Ram. And when the sages and ascetics in the various forests, when they had seen him, they had all thought one thing, and that is, I wish I were a female, and I wish he were my beloved. They were very pure-hearted souls. So they have now come at the end of Dwapar Yuga as gopis. These are the gopis. Of course, 8 of them are Ashtamahasakhis. They are like the reflections of Radharani. Lalita Vishakha Chitra Rang Devi Sudevi Champaklata Indulekha Tungavidya. So these 8 are the reflections of Radharani as if, and they have come from Golok with Radharani. They were never under the control of Maya. So these gopis love Shri Krishna as their beloved. And there is no love like Gopi Prem. There is no Prem like Gopi Prem. Sri Maharaj Ji, when he heard about Valentine's Day, that is celebrated, they used to be celebrated in North America generally, mostly, but it's being celebrated in India all over in a big way. Sri Maharaj Ji heard about this Valentine's Day, and then he renamed it as Gopi Prem Divas. Gopi Prem Divas. Let's not talk about worldly love here, because there's no true love in the world. Let's commemorate the love that the gopis have for Shri Krishna. Let's try to emulate that love. So February 14th, we celebrate Gopi Prem Divas, the love of the gopis for Shri Krishna. These gopis, their love is so great that even Brahma bows down at their lotus feet. Narad Muni, who is a partial manifestation of God on earth, he says in Narad Bhakti Darshan, Yatha Braj Gopika Naam. He talked about devotion, Siddha Bhakti, and then he thought, people will ask, when they read my scripture, they will think, is there a devotee that I can look towards who has this kind of love that Narad ji is talking about? So he put in one of the sutras, one of the 84 aphorisms of Narad Bhakti Darshan is, Yatha Braj Gopika Naam. That's, gopis are such devotees, selfless devotees of Shri Krishna. Brahma he prays to Shri Krishna, "O Krishna, O my Lord, may I become even a worm, an insect, a creeper, a plant in Vrindavan, so that I may attain the foot dust of these selfless devotees, these gopis." Theirs is the highest love. Theirs is a selfless love. Love that does not ask for anything in return. Love that does not ask for a reason to love. There should be no reason to love. The only reason is he's mine. He alone is mine and I am his. There's no other reason that I need to love him. So the gopi says, I don't need any reason to love him, and I will never stop loving him, no matter how he behaves towards me. No matter how he behaves with me, I will keep on loving him. My love will keep on increasing. Even if he kills me, I will still love him. Whether he embraces me lovingly or pushes me away or kills me or becomes neutral towards me, I will keep on loving him. This is why the gopis are role models for us. We are learning about Raganuga Bhakti. We are trying to practice Raganuga devotion under the instructions of Jagadguru Uttam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. And for us, the role models are the gopis. Shri Maharaji has spoken a lot about the gopis. He's talked a lot about Gopi Prem. And I will continue with this topic of Gopi Prem because there's not enough time. But I will continue with this topic tomorrow as we talk about sadhana and continue this topic. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Boliye Gopi Prem ki jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.